Well, here we are at Mother Deer picking up some hydraulic fluid. It's actually supposed to be hydrostatic fluid, but 1, 2, 3 5-gallon drums of her finest high guard. Where are we at here? 414.64. Thank you, Mother Deer, for making some of the finest, most expensive hydraulic fluids that your tractor can consume. Alright, I can hear everybody in the comments now. Why would you spend that much money to buy the John Deere High Guard? Well, yes, you can get hydraulic or hydrostatic fluid cheaper other places. Napa, maybe 10 or 20 bucks cheaper, a 5-gallon bucket. I don't know, I didn't look. The way I see it is I've already put so much time, money, effort, and blood, sweat, and tears into this thing. Tires, paint, hoses. I mean, $1,600 in hoses. I don't think 20 bucks a 5-gallon bucket's gonna kill me to get the right stuff in there. So if you watch back to this video when I originally took this thing apart, it was full of red automatic transmission fluid. That was what was in here. And it worked fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But it's not what is supposed to be in there. So being as this whole system is cleaned out, the chain sumps have been cleaned, I have all brand new hoses, what better time to put the correct fluid in here, right? Because to flush out all that old transmission fluid would take forever. Heck, there's probably still some in there right now. So anyway, but just for S&G, let's do a little math. So here's a 12-ounce can of my favorite Arnold Palmer iced tea. I love this stuff. It's half tea, half lemonade. I could put a intravenous needle in my arm and just, have this stuff fed to me. Anyway, breaking this down, how much this stuff costs. So there's 128 ounces in a 1-gallon container or bucket. So that means that each of these 5-gallon buckets holds 640 ounces, which comes out to about 53.3 of these 12-ounce cans in a 5-gallon bucket. So at $130 for a 5-gallon bucket, that means that each of these tea cans are $2.43 a piece. Makes you want to conserve your oil a little better. $2.43 a can. It's crazy. But I'm going to sleep good at night knowing that I have the right fluid in here, and hopefully it'll extend the life of this tractor. And just because you have a tractor doesn't mean you should buy the oil from Tractor Supply. That Traveler stuff, I wouldn't even put that in my trash can. Alright, so as you can see, we went out today to run some errands. I went to the Deere dealership. I got the high guard that we needed. I had to stop at AutoZone to get some fuel line and a couple little odds and ends, along with a bunch more brake cleaner to clean this engine. So today, FedEx should be dropping off the rubber bonded washers. So tomorrow's video is going to be installing the chains and the chain drive, and putting these side covers on and putting some hydraulic fluid in the system. Basically, I just want to get some fluid in there so we can do a static test to see if any of these fittings in the sump are leaking. So today's video is going to focus on the engine. I really need to get going on that. Again, there's nothing wrong with this engine. It starts, runs fine. It doesn't burn any oil or smoke. But the head gaskets do leak a little bit, and there are some oil gaskets, like for the sump, that leak and just make a mess. So basically, we're just going to strip this engine down. We're going to clean the outside real good, replace some gaskets, replace the head gaskets, and slap it back together. I'm hoping by the end of this video we get it in primer and painted, which would be amazing. That way there it can be drying. So tomorrow, while we're putting these chains in, we can start to move to get the engine installed. So I think what I'm going to do is get the engine to the pump alignment correct when we get to that point. But I'm not going to couple the two together. That does something for me that I wasn't thinking was, it's going to allow me to start and run that engine, do any adjustments on the carburetor, make sure there aren't any issues with that engine on its own, separate from this hydraulic system. Once I know the fluids are filled, that nothing's leaking out of these chain cases, and that the engine works properly, then we can go ahead and throw the chain on the coupling and start it to run the hydraulic system to purge out all the air and get all our loader functions working. So I think we're on track for getting this thing running for the weekend, which is awesome. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this moved to the side of the house, up on cribbing, and start tearing into this engine. I have a feeling this is going to be a little bit heavier to move around now that we've got all this stuff in here. Let's see what we can do. Ultimately, I'd like to turn it around again so I can push it backwards. That's not too bad. Definitely has some more weight to it this time though. Be nice when the engine's back in it. Block of wood so I don't run into my truck. That'll give me a little more leverage. Come on, this way. Back to your cage. Alright, so what you're looking at here is a Kohler K482. It's an 18 horsepower twin cylinder engine, and this is what was in the skid steer when I got it. This is not the original engine. This has no place at all being in that thing, but it's in there, it fits, and it works, and it's pretty good. So as you can see, I've got some custom dual exhaust going on here. And this rat nest of wires and hoses is pretty much just everything that I disconnected when I removed it. Like I said, this engine runs great. It doesn't smoke or burn any oil. I don't have any issues with it, so I'm not going to rebuild it. The carburetor did have a little bit of a surge sometimes. I've never cleaned it. I've never had it apart, so I'm sure there's some gunk and goulash in there. But I do have a new carburetor for it as well. So we're pretty much just going to go through. I'm going to take all these hoses and wires off, and I'm going to make my own little one-line wiring diagram, because the wiring diagram that's in the books is for the original engine that was in there, and though it should be similar, who knows. So it's best just to, I know it works like this, so I'll just draw it out, you know, from each of the components. So basically battery, starter, coil, and whatnot. This wiring is all going to get replaced. I'm going to do all new stuff. I'm going to get some new battery cables and whatnot. So again, just for the sake of the video, it's really kind of pretty much boring stuff. There's nothing entertaining to see in that. So I'm going to just handle all that off video. I do have one of these plastic cement mixing troughs that I got at Home Depot. They're like 17 bucks. You've seen me use these in a ton of videos before. I've got two 6x6 blocks sitting inside there, so basically I can set this engine on top of those wood blocks, have full access to it, and any junk, grease, and grime that falls off this will just fall into that tray. Once I get all these covers off and all the components and I'm down to pretty much the bare block, I can also utilize that same tray to just spray with the brake cleaner to get everything washed and cleaned off the engine, and it'll be contained at the bottom of that bucket, which I can dump out later. So anyway, yeah, we're just going to go through and replace gaskets and put basically the same components back on. Honestly, I didn't even order new spark plugs and wires like I thought I did. So I'm just going to have to use what's on here for now. I'll order some new ones just to make it look a little nicer. but we'll go from there. I did get a engine gasket kit, which is here, and again it has everything: the exhaust manifolds, the head gaskets, which is the big thing, the sump gasket. So I'll get all these laid out and just kind of go through one by one and replace the gaskets. Once all the gaskets are replaced, I'll clean it one more time, shoot it with primer, let it dry for a couple hours, and then shoot it with the paint, and this should be good to go. All these exhaust components, I usually use the grill paint or high temp flat black. Works pretty good, and yeah, we'll see what happens. So next time we check in, this should be kind of stripped down and hopefully in the cleaning process. So I've got most everything stripped off the engine. Got the carburetor removed, the fuel pump, which I don't use. I have an electric fuel pump, so that doesn't need to go back on. I'll make a blank off plate, or maybe I'll just throw it back on. I still got to get the heads off. Got the wiring harness off here, and some more stuff over here. Choke cable, throttle. That orange wire is extension cord wire, and that's what they had for lighting. Pretty cool. Amazing what people will do. Alright, so this intake manifold and exhaust manifold, because really they're all the same, are connected. And I'd really like to change those gaskets because, one, I know they get brittle and deteriorated because they're exhaust gaskets, and then they're also the same gasket for air, intake air. The carburetor goes on this flange here, so I'd really like to get those off. Got one loosened on this side, one out of the three, and I've got two out of the three on that side, and the other ones don't want to budge. So I've sprayed them with the Croil, and we're going to use the fire wrench to heat them up a bit, see if we can get them free. Fire wrench to the rescue. Let's get the party started. It's on fire, that means it's pretty hot. Put another shrimp on the barbie. No go yet, Houston. We'll let that one do a heat cycle, cool off a bit. Let's try this front one here. There we go. Let's try this back one again. More fire, more fire. I knew she'd come. Just gotta talk dirty. Alright, let's get this on the side here. I think I just got one over here. I do. Heat will take anything apart. And if it won't take it apart, it'll cut it apart. More fire, more fire. Alright, I'm going to let this thing cool a little bit, kind of do some heat cycles, and I'll spray some of my favorite Kroil on there, and hopefully we can get it moving. Got this one loose though, that's good. Like a dream. Let it cool off a bit, use some of the Kroil to assist in the cooling, and then boom, didn't snap, not a one. And I think that's about it. I think that's all. I'm going to pull the heads off, and we'll get this shit cleaned up and good to go. I've been cleaning up on this engine quite a bit with the CRC brake clean. You can see I got a lot more blue instead of black and oil, and it's peeling some of that old paint off, which is fine. I've got all these holes plugged up so I don't get any debris down there, but just trying to get most of the grime and debris off. So I ended up flipping the engine over on its side here because I want to replace this sump gasket. That's interesting. Anyway, you can see someone's been in here, and I know my pet peeves are flat tires and oil leaks, but blue silicone gasket maker, throw it in the trash can. I mean, you already got it apart. Why not just put a gasket in there, you know? I mean, here it is. They got an old gasket in there, I guess, but it's just junk. So, anyway, again, probably yet another source of oil leaks on this thing. So, yep, and get this all cleaned up, get a new gasket on here, finish cleaning up the grease and grime and debris, pop the heads off, replace those gaskets, and get this thing one more clean. Final clean down, and then I think we should be able to get it ready for prime and paint tonight. I got a few pieces over here, the exhaust and intake manifold, and then the cover. So I'll get those cleaned up and painted as well. Pulled the first cylinder head off, cleaned up the mating surfaces best I could. I'm not getting too finicky with this. It's an old engine, so just want to clean up, make sure you don't have any of the old head gasket on there. The new head gaskets that you put in, I like to spray them with copper coat. I think it's Permatex that makes it. Let me see here. Yep. So Permatex copper coat. It's just kind of helps seal, and it's better than the blue silicone RTV that the last person put on the head gasket. Yes, they put it on the sump cover, and they also put it on the head gasket. I'm telling you, the stuff you find when you take these things apart. So anyway, I'm gonna get this cylinder head back on. We'll go ahead and pull this one off over here. I've already changed the gasket on the oil sump. Get everything cleaned up one more time. Give this thing a coat of primer and paint. And then, oh, I do have to change the gaskets on the valve covers also, just to make sure those aren't leaking. But that's it. We're just changing gaskets pretty much, cleaning up everything. We're gonna prime it, paint it, and hopefully put it back together tomorrow. So I got a little bit of grinding on this stuff here to do, like I said. And hopefully the next time you see me, this thing will be in primer. Alrighty, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. We got a lot done today. I got the skid steer moved back on the side of the house, and we brought the engine into the garage, got it completely cleaned up. We were able to replace all the gaskets, the sump, the valve adjustment covers. We replaced both head gaskets. I've got a new filter coming for the oil filter. We'll put some new fresh oil in there, spark plugs. I've got the exhaust and intake manifold painted high temp black, and all the other accessories are in primer. This is the blue paint that we're going to be using. It's Rust-Oleum, what's it called? Gloss Deep Blue. I don't know what color a Kohler engine is supposed to be, but this one was blue, so I'm going to make it blue again. I'm typically not a fan of a bunch of different colors on a machine. I'm more of a matte black kind of guy. I like it au naturel. But like I said, it was blue before, so we're going to put it back to blue again. So anyway, that's about it. Tomorrow we'll get the engine painted blue. We'll get the chains put in and adjusted. And then hopefully the next day we can get the engine installed and running. So I'm not going to hook up the coupling for the engine to the pumps. That way there I can get the engine started, dial in the carburetor, make sure everything's good with the engine. And then we'll put the chain on, the coupling, so that we can then run the hydraulic system, get it bled out, and make sure everything's good. So I'm hoping another like 3 days and we'll have this thing up and running. So anyway, I know this wasn't a very informational video. It was just kind of choppy, but just kind of trying to document the process of getting this thing knocked out. So I hope you're enjoying the series. This daily upload is for the birds. I don't know how people do it all the time. So once or twice a week is good enough for me. So once this project's done, we'll be back to Saturdays and Wednesdays. So, all right, have a good one.